Sit down in front of a screen and play a video of a fire, not a real one. No heat, no smoke, nothing to smell, just orange light moving on glass. Your body doesn't seem to care that it's fake. Within a couple of minutes, your blood pressure drops. Your shoulders come down from up around your ears. Your breathing slows and deepens without you deciding it should. You feel calmer than when you sat down, calmer than a rectangle of pixels has any right to make you. It works on almost everyone who tries it. It works on people who don't even like camping. It works on restless kids and on people who swear they can never sit still. A campfire, a fireplace, a candle, even a loop of flames on a phone, all do it. And no one ever sat you down and taught you how to do this. You just know it isn't a habit, and it isn't a taste you picked up. It's something your body does on its own before you ever decide to, which is strange when you think about what fire actually is. A fire can burn your house to the ground. It can kill you in the time it takes to find your shoes. It is one of the few things on Earth that can erase you completely. Every alarm your body owns should be screaming at you to back away. By every rule your body lives by, you should fear it. Instead, it soothes you. And that contradiction is the whole mystery. Instead, you pull your chair a little closer. You lean in. You watch. So why does the one thing that could destroy you make the human brain let its guard down? The answer isn't really about fire at all. It's about who you are, and to get to it, you have to go back much further than you'd think. Start about 1 million years ago in a cave in South Africa called Wonderwork. It isn't a small cave. It runs back into a hillside like a long tunnel, and the deeper you go, the darker and quieter it gets. In 2012, a scientist named Francesco Berna was working 100 feet in from the entrance, far past where any lightning or grass fire from outside could reach. Why does that depth matter? Because it rules out an accident. Down in that dirt, sealed in layers 1 million years old, he found ash, burnt scraps of animal bone, stone that had been cracked by heat, plant matter turned to fine gray powder, the kind you only get from a steady, low-tended fire. Someone had sat in that cave, deep in the dark, and kept a fire alive. To keep a fire alive, you have to feed it, watch it, carry it from camp to camp. It's some of the oldest solid evidence of humans living with fire. Not fleeing a wildfire, but keeping one, on purpose. And one Harvard primatologist thinks that small flame did something enormous. He thinks it didn't just keep those humans warm. He thinks it made them. His idea is almost insultingly simple. Raw food is brutal to eat. Our own jaws are small and weak. On raw food alone, we would barely scrape by. Picture a chimpanzee, one of our closest cousins. A chimp spends around 6 hours of every day just chewing. 6 hours. Their food is so tough and gives up so little energy that eating it is nearly a full-time job. A body that spends most of its waking life just feeding itself has very little time or energy left for anything else, including thinking. Cooking breaks that rule. Heat does part of your digestion for you, outside your body, before the food ever reaches your mouth. Cooked food is softer, safer, and surrenders far more energy for far less work. And all that freed up energy had to go somewhere. In a body, spare energy only has a few places to go: a bigger body, a bigger gut, or a bigger brain. Evolution, it seems, spent hours on the brain. Over hundreds of thousands of years, our guts shrank. You don't need a huge gut to process food that's already half broken down. And the brain, the single most expensive organ you own, quietly burning 1/5 of your energy even while you sit perfectly still, finally got the room and the fuel to grow. Now, this is his argument, not a closed case. Exactly when cooking became an everyday habit is still fought over. But the shape of it is hard to shake. The brain reading this sentence does not exist without the fire that fed it. But fire didn't only change our bodies, it changed our days. Before fire, the day had a hard edge. When the sun went down, the world simply switched off. Half of every single day was just lost to the dark. Dark meant blind, and for a slow, soft animal with no claws and no night vision, blind meant prey. So you stopped. You found somewhere to hide. You waited, and you hoped, and you listened to things moving in a dark you couldn't see into. Fire changed the terms. It pushed a small circle of daylight out into the night and held it there. Fire was a piece of the daytime you could carry into the dark. For the first time, an animal had hours of light. After dark, hours with nothing urgent left to do. For the first time in the story of life, there were evenings. No hunting, no gathering, just warmth and each other and time. So what did people do with all that time? In 2014, an anthropologist named Polly Wiesner finally asked a quiet question almost no one had bothered with. She had spent decades among the Juhawansi of the Kalahari with recordings of their conversations by day and by night. She wasn't really studying the fire. She was studying what the fire let people do. By day, the talk was business. Who needs to move camp? Who took more than their share? Complaints, plans, the same arguments families everywhere have. At night around the fire, the talk turned into something else. The split is almost hard to believe. In daylight, only about 6% of it was stories. After dark, by firelight, it was 81%. The day was for the practical and the petty. The night was for the dead, for people far away, for spirits and gods, and the long tales everyone had heard 100 times and wanted to hear again. The firelight wasn't just light to see by. It was the first room the human imagination was ever handed. Night after night, we were quietly rehearsing the thing that makes us human, imagining what isn't there. The first place we sat still long enough to wonder. And those stories were never just entertainment. Around that fire, a tribe taught its children which plants would kill them, which animals to run from, where the water was, how their people came to be. And no one ever had to call it a lesson. The knowledge that kept everyone alive was wrapped inside the tales they told for fun. A group that shared its myths by firelight trusted each other in daylight. So the fire didn't only warm the body and feed the brain. It quietly assembled the tribe. And then there is what the fire does directly to your body. That same year, an anthropologist named Christopher Lynn ran an experiment so simple it sounds like nothing. He sat people down and showed them a fire, sometimes just the silent flames. Sometimes the flames with the sound, the crackle, the pop, the soft collapse of a log, and he took their blood pressure, before and after. The fire with its sound brought their blood pressure down, and the longer they sat with it, the further it fell. More fire, more calm, almost like a dose of something. The people who watched came away warmer toward whoever sat beside them. The calm was real, it was measurable, and it was social. Lynn thinks the reason is ancient, and that it is written into you. No parent ever teaches a baby to relax at a fire. It seems to arrive already installed. For hundreds of thousands of nights, the people at a fire were the safe ones. The fire held the predators back, out past the edge of the light. It meant warmth. It meant food. It meant your people, close, gathered inside the one small circle the dark could not get into. Picture it for a second. A handful of people, a single fire, and just past the last reach of its light, an entire continent of darkness with teeth in it. For 200,000 years, that small ring of orange was the safest place a human being could possibly be. A brain that could finally stop scanning the shadows wasn't being lazy. It was being correct. The ones who could settle, who let the fire hold the night, and let their guard down among their people, slept more deeply, healed better, and lived to do it again. Night after night, calm by the fire was paid back in survival. And bodies remember what kept their ancestors alive. They reward it with calm, so your nervous system learned a single rule and never forgot it. When the fire is lit and your people are near, you are allowed to stand down, which means the calm you feel was never really about the fire. It's about everything the fire has always stood for. A line drawn around the dark, a wall of light with your whole world inside it. Inside the light, warmth, food, your people. Outside, the night and everything in it. A signal older than any word in any language that says, without saying anything at all, the night is out there, and tonight, it cannot reach you. So the next time you catch yourself staring into a fire, a real one, or just a video of one glowing on a screen, your body won't stop to check whether it's real. It never had to before. And you feel something in you go quiet and still know that you are not relaxing in some modern way. You are answering a signal 300,000 years old. The fire is telling you exactly what it told all of them every night, for longer than we have been able to speak. The dark is held back. The food is shared. The people are here. You are warm. You are fed. You are not alone. You are safe. You made it to another night. You can rest now.